Well, is your child struggling in school? If so, this could be due to an eye condition. Joining me this morning with some insight into this matter is Joshua Crowder from Crowder Eye Center. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about how struggling in school could be related to an eye issue. And we're not talking about near or farsighted, right?
Right, yeah. So what oftentimes parents don't realize is that, your child may be having trouble in the classroom, and it may be their eyesight, right? They may have some reluctance to read, they may fatigue more quickly, or when they're reading, you see them following with their finger or whatnot. And they may be nearsighted, they may be farsighted. That can present a problem.
Absolutely.
But what parents often don't realize is there's some tracking issues, or their eyes just may not be working together properly, and that will present some problems as well. And that's something that, if your child's struggling, they should get evaluated.
Right. Now, some of these symptoms, like the tracking and the confusion of letters, may to a parent immediately seem like a much larger issue, like a dyslexia or an ADD or an ADHD, but sometimes with a little bit more investigation, it's not quite the case, right?
Yeah, so obviously if your child is struggling, you want to help them out, right? And that may be ADHD or ADD, or maybe require medication. But then what parents, again, just don't realize, they think that, oh, my child has good eyes. They have 20/20 vision. They don't need glasses. They've been told they don't have, they don't need eyeglasses. But it might be worth taking a second look at, right? By somebody who looks at these problems where the eyes are not coordinating or working well together, because it may not be ADD,
right.
It may not be ADHD, it may not be something that they need a medication for. It may be something that we just need to do, train their eyes where they work together better.
And
right?
not every optometrist does this eye therapy, so to speak. You're one of the few in our area that does, one of two, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about, number one, how do we come to the conclusion that we need the therapy for our kids? Is this something that we need to bring up in the examination, or is it automatically checked for? Talk us through the process.
Yeah, so what I encourage is if you have a child who's struggling, right, that let's make sure that their eyes are not the problem, right? Let's go get an eye examination. Maybe they just need some contacts, right? And that's often the times, or glasses or what have you. But if there's something more going on, there are these other problems where let's say they have that tracking problem, where it's because when we read, we actually skip from word to word to word to word with our eyes, right? And if
at a certain point, we don't read every word.
Exactly, right. But if your tracking's not working well, then you start to skip over words or reverse words, or like a lot of times kids will they read across the sentence, and then you see that they jump down, but then they jump down too far, right? Well, this oftentimes is a tracking issue. And if that's the case, then we need to make sure that it gets properly diagnosed. And then there's these eye exercises that we can do under the care of someone who treats those conditions. And then those are completely correctable issues, and then the child's not skipping over, and they're much happier in the classroom.
Right, absolutely, a little bit more responsive. So again, this is something that the parents need to bring up during the eye examination if they're concerned about that, right?
It's a good idea. Obviously, we want to know what the child is experiencing, so we can best correct it. Yeah.
So talk me through the therapy process, and you're telling me before during the break that now's a great time to start that over the summer, so you're ready for the fall semester.
Yeah. So let's say your child is having one of these tracking problems, right? So you'd bring him in for an eye examination. We diagnose that they have a tracking problem. This is not something that, unfortunately, I can't fix with eyeglasses, but we can do training to fix it. Well, our office, we have a vision therapy department where we teach these eye muscles to be stronger, and then over a course of a few weeks, then if we start now, next fall will be a different story. The kids will be able to perform their best in the classroom, right, and not fatigue and not strain.
Okay, so we just had a picture up. Can we get that picture back up, the first one? That was the couple sentences there. I want you to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, where am I looking?
Right over there, yeah.
Yeah, so this kind of represents like what your child may be experiencing. You'll see that they're skipping over the words, or they're reversing them, and they're all over the place. And so if your child is seeing like this, gosh, they got to be having trouble. They're going to be struggling. They're going to have some reluctance to read and not be performing their best.
So many examples again, and so talk about a little bit more about the therapy sessions.
Okay, so the therapy sessions it can vary wildly based upon what they're dealing with, what the child, because we're talking about tracking, but there's a lot of other conditions that could be the case. But we have like eye exercises. It's like if you go in for physical therapy, the therapist dentist is kind of working different muscles. Well, what we're doing, we have these, we may have balance boards that they're walking across, or they're following objects with their eyes, or we have certain 3D images that they have to use that basically trains to get both eyes working together. It looks kind of silly from
training
outside.
your eye muscles, though.
Training the eye muscles and how the brain uses the eyes as well. So that's a big part of it as well.
And now, so you have a little special offer for our reviewers because you want to get parents engaged and active, get this taken care of over the summer so you can jump right into the fall semester. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, if your child needs vision therapy, all our vision therapy services, if you mention that you saw us on this program, are going to be 30% off if you mention this. Yeah, it's huge. And so, again, the big thing I want to do is, let's take advantage of the summer, the break, and let's get let's not let last year's maybe poor performance fall into next year.
Absolutely.
Let's get this taken care of.
Okay, and so step one is coming in for that eye exam, right? Okay, so what is the best way to get in contact with you and set up that appointment?
It's 2018. You can you can Facebook us. You can find us on our website. You can request an appointment at CrowderEyeCenter.com. You can call us at 899-2020. You can see us on Facebook. You can, just a variety of different ways. We're on Challenger Road. We're pretty easy to find.
And you have a second location now too, right?
Yeah, we have an office in South Pittsburgh as well. Me and Dr. Spalding see patients at that office.
Okay, well, Dr. Crowder, thanks so much for joining us and telling us more about this.
Absolutely.
All right, so make sure to get your eye exam scheduled quickly and get a jump start on the fall semester. Stick around, we'll be right back on Let's Chat.